lovelies, my name is Lecka. Today we're going to be going over how to make a killer badass raid deck in Yugioh Cross Duel so that you can take on the raid bosses and get up from easy to medium. Yummy! I am thinking about how to effectively defeat bosses in Raid Duel, if you would just let me talk, good sir. But if you guys are excited for this video, make sure you go ahead and lick that like button and subscribe because they taste delicious and it helps us in our journey to reach 10,000 subscribers. So if you are excited for this, let's go ahead and get on into the video on how you too can go ahead and make your cards functional for Raid Duels. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to cards and we're going to go to edit deck. Then we're going to click on new data. And I already have a raid deck, but we are going to make one from scratch because I want to show you guys how to do this. Now, obviously, you're going to pick whichever your UR is that you have available to you, especially if you just started the game and you don't have a lot of URs available to you, or if you've been doing it for a little bit but you still don't have the ones that you want necessarily, like Blue Eyes White Dragon or Red Dragon Archfiend or Neos, who is also really, really good in raid battles, especially for the late game ones. Then what you're going to want is to use whatever it is you have available to you. If you have Blue Eyes White Dragon and Red Dragon Archfiend, then you're going to want to put those in your deck. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our Blue Eyes and we are going to go to the deck editor and we're going to put it in here. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put its master skill on, which allows it to destroy one selected monster. But even if you don't have its master skill, that is the second tier, you can use its level 1 special skill of selecting and destroying any level 1 or any level 4 or lower monster. Because what that does is whenever the raid boss sends out a vassal to try and defend its weak spot, that's always going to be a level 3 monster because the vassal is never higher than that. So it works really well and synergizes with Blue Eye's ability to destroy shit because it's able to destroy the vassal and then get a direct line of attack to the raid boss's weak spot. The other skill you're going to want to put on is the anti-raid monster skill, just in case we weren't able to destroy it or if there's multiple on the board for some reason or whatever may happen. It's nice to have that on just in case, because the other abilities of it really don't matter all that much when we're dealing with raid shenanigans. The first thing we're going to do now is we're going to filter our cards, and what you're going to want to do is when you see all this, this is very, very, very important. You need to come down here and click on including locked skills. If you do not click this box and checkmark it, then you will only see cards with skills you've unlocked, which could be none of them, which is not going to be helpful. You want to see all of the cards you could potentially put into your deck and potentially put materials into to make a really good raid boss deck. So make sure you have including locked skills checkmarked, ding ding, so that you're all good to go. We're going to go ahead and scroll down, and the first skill that we're going to want to put in here is the healer spell. Now, this deck is going to be mostly based on damage, with just a couple healers put in. So I'm going to put in my freaking frackin' Sonata, the Melodious Diva, because I know that she has the healer ability, which makes it so that you gain life points extra 500 just by having this skill on your person. And whenever you put a monster in the left or right lane, they end up going to the teammates either on the left or to the right of you. And that gives you at 500 extra life points. If you have the healer ability on, you gain an extra 1,000 life points, which is nice for helping to fade off the damage that the raid boss is doing to you every turn. Now, so you can obviously make a healer deck if you really want to and go full healer and make sure that that's great, but you can't go higher than 8,000 life points, so having multiple healers seems redundant because you aren't able to utilize his abilities to capitalize on just having so many life points that can never kill you. So because you get capped, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to do so. So having just one in here works pretty fine. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to uncheck healer and we're going to scroll down and we're going to click on double material because we're going to want to put some cards in here that allow us to have double summons. So I have the Performapal Hip Hippo, who is able to do its double summon, and that one is going to be put into the deck. You can also put in Dark Resonator. I do not have the Dark Resonator double summon skill unlocked, otherwise I would put it in the deck with its double summon skill. Right now I have it with a different skill that we'll put into the deck instead. But this is another really good card for the double summon slot so that you can put in your Red Dragon Archfiend as well. After we do the double summon, we're going to go down and we're going to go to immunity, bounce, and teleport. Now, why do we need an immunity to bouncing / teleportation? It's because whenever you are doing a raid battle, there is going to be a Hey True Nade card that makes it, and also a Mirror Force card. Not the regular Mirror Force, but a different kind of Mirror Force. One of the Mirror Force cards. I can't remember the name of it right now. It's the green one. That makes it so you are not able to put a monster down in that lane unless it has an immunity to bounce / teleportation, because it will get put back into your hand and not be able to be used. So you can't put a Blue Eyes down in a red lane that is going to bounce it back to your hand because you just wasted 2 materials to put it on the field when it can't even go down the lane to attack it because it doesn't have an immunity. So it's very important to have ones in here with that kind of immunity. What we're going to do is we're going to put in our Giant Soldier of Stone with the immunity that we have for that one. We're also going to put in Vorse Raider because Vorse Raider also has an immunity as well. It's really nice to have these in here. Ojama also has an immunity, which I do not have a freaking frackin' skill for it yet, but I'm going to get one. And we also have Vice Dragon, who has an immunity to bounce as well. So we're going to put Vice Dragon in here too. That is 3 that we have that are bounces, and Debris Dragon we could put in, but I don't have the skill for it, so I'm not going to put it in the deck just because of that. But you could also put in School Shot Hedgehog as well, if you want to put in another one that has immunity to being bounced and teleported. But we're just going to go ahead and just put in 3 because it's pretty good, and you're not going to really need more than 3 when you're going up against the easy and mid-level tier bosses. After the immunity / bounce and teleport, we're going to do anti-boss, and we're going to put in as many monsters as we can that have this one in here. So we're going to put in Y Dragon Head, because this one has an anti-boss one, and what anti-boss does is it gains 500 attack points when battling a raid boss, which is great. We're going to put in Draconet as well, who's also going to have that same ability. We're going to put in Ram Clouder, who has, again, the same ability for going in and doing that. We're also going to put in our frackin' Mila, the Temporal Magician, who does that too. And you could put in Gaga Magician and this other one here as well. This one I don't like and do not recommend putting in, simply because its attack is so low at 1200. The additional 500, there are better cards that we can put in the deck that's going to make it more worthwhile. So I don't recommend putting in the Archer. From here, we're going to skip Anti-Raid Monster, because all Anti-Raid Monster does is make it so that if you go up against a Raid Monster, you get rid of their 500 of their attack and defense. And there's a spell card that we're going to show you here in a little bit that already does that for you. So there's no point in wasting spots in your deck with an Anti-Raid Monster. What you're going to want instead is a Boss Buster, because that is going to be super, super useful. This is where we're going to put in our Red Dragon Archfiend, because he's going to have a Boss Buster, but bam. We're also going to put in our X-Head Cannon, who's going to have the same thing. And if you're asking what it does, it gains 1000 attack when attacking a raid boss's weak point. So when it's turned around and facing you, it's able to do that. Go Golem has one as well. I do not have Go Golem's one in here, but it's a really good card to have in regardless. I'm going to put in my Sonata as well, so that I can, Cannon the Melodious Diva, along with Sonata, so I can have her do the Snipey Doodles. And then we are going to put in the next set of our thing in here, which is going to be Anti-Object, which, as long as you're putting an object down on the field, you don't need more than 1 or 2 of these in here, because you just really don't need them. Karibo, I know, has the Anti-Object because it's able to go in and do 2 damage to an object instead of 1, which, when you get up to the higher end of the medium levels for the raid boss, you're going to have objects that have 2 HP, so having 1 or 2 things in here, in addition to when you're able to coordinate with your teammates, because you can usually only do 1 towards it anyway, makes sense. We're also going to put in an Ojama, so that we can do the same thing, and give it a skill too, with Ojama Yellow. I'm going to go in and I'm going to unlock these guys' skills so I can put them in the deck for what they're meant to be. But if you already have them unlocked, awesome. If you don't, go ahead and put your materials towards them to make it so. I'm going to do the same with Go Golem so I can have it be useful in Raid in addition. But we now have 3 spots left, and we're going to be putting in 3 specific spell cards. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in spell cards and do that. But the reason we're avoiding anti-shield when we're doing these easy to mid-tier level deck for the raid boss is if you're attacking the objects, the shields are never going to go up. because it's not going to be able to recoup a shield if it doesn't have any objects to give it that energy. So as long as you're able to stay on top of the objects and work together with your team to make sure that it doesn't get a shield up, you're not going to need anybody to have an anti-shield. So what we're going to do is we're going to scroll all the way over to the spell cards, and we're going to scroll over till we see the ones that look like Excalibur, which are going to be these 6. These 6 cards in particular all have to do with raid bosses. And these are the 2 most important ones that you need to have in your deck. Wicked Breaking Flameburge, because of its ability to give you 2 anti-bosses. And you need to have in Butterfly Dagger Elma because of its ability to give you 2 boss busters. Now, the other ones is kind of up to you on what you want to put in. I wouldn't recommend putting in the anti-raid monster because you don't really need it. You could put in the healer rod for the assist boost if you want to give some extra heal to yourself. Anti-shield also has the ability to do that, but like we just talked about, you don't really need the shield if you're going to be taking down the objects every turn. And this one is another anti-object, so you can give it to yourself for making one of your other monsters be able to get rid of the object if it wasn't able to. I'm going to put the assist one in, but it's really personal preference which of these you think is going to do well. Feel free to experiment and go back and forth. You can have all 6 in here or even 5 of them in here, but I find that 5 of them feels a bit bricky, so I try not to do that. I'm choosing to put in the assist rod just because I want to be able to have that extra oomph for healing, even if I get a card that I want to send over to the other side for extra heals, should that happen. So that is going to be favorable for me. But if I decide to change that, I can change that again at any time. There's not going to be a single trap in the deck because the traps don't matter in this game, so you want to mostly have it be filled with monsters that can do what they need to do going forward to get these monsters in and out. Now that we have those skills unlocked, we're going to go to Ojama, we're going to put anti-object on. We're going to go to the other Ojama, and we're going to put an anti-object on. We're going to go to Golem, and we're going to put on Boss Buster. And then, of all the things that we have in here, I want to add in Dark Resonator because of its ability to come in and be another double summon for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out Draconet, and instead, because we have 3 things that tribute summon with Vice Dragon, Red Dragon Archfiend, and Blue Eyes White Dragon, we're going to put in Dark Resonator. So we just need to scroll over until we find it, and then we're going to put this in. And there we go. Boom. So this is the final deck and what it looks like. It's going to go Blue Eyes White Dragon, Red Dragon Archfiend, Kuriboh, Giant Soldier of Stone, Vorse Raider, X-Head Cannon, Y Dragon Head, Ojama Yellow, Ojama Black, Dark Resonator, Vice Dragon, Golem, Performa Palahip Hippo, Sonata the Melodious Diva, Cannon the Melodious Diva, Ram Clouder, Mila the Temporal Magician, and of course our 3 spell cards as well, which includes our Wicked Breaking Flameburg, which has to be in here, Butterfly Dagger Elma, which has to be in here, and then yours of choice, but for me, we're putting in the Rod of Silence, KS. Now, when going and selecting Raid Duels, you're going to want to make sure that the deck you've made is the one that you have equipped. So right now I have Raid Me Daddy because that's my original Raid deck, but we're going to click Raid Example for this one. We're going to hit Confirm, and we are going to, it's basically the same deck anyway, I just made it twice. And then we're going to do Fight Raid Boss. Now for this video, I'm going to just practice and show you guys what it looks like to go in and fight with this deck and how it's supposed to work so you can see how it's supposed to synergize, what you're going to be doing. You can skate by with having a quick match happen so that you can play with some computers, but when you get into the medium levels or even the higher end of easy, you're going to want to start playing with friends. And I'm going to have a link in the description down below to the Discord server for Cross Duel that Decade made. So that you guys can start using that and getting friends in there. I'm in there, and I like to raid duel, so if you want to raid duel with me, or if you want to raid duel with a lot of the other people in there, there's tons of really nice people who are willing and ready to raid, in addition to doing tag duels and help you with ranked and all these other things. So I highly recommend using it as a resource, especially for finding raid duel partners. But for now, what we're going to do is I do not trust the computer. I never ever trust the computer. I don't ever trust them not to be brain dead. So what we're going to do is we are going to put down our Ojama to go ahead and get rid of that object. It's a bit overkill because it only has 1 HP rather than 2 HP, but that's fine. And then we're going to go in with our Ram Clouder in the middle lane because of its ability with anti-boss, and we're going to go straight in and attack it. Its weak point is facing Kali, so we're going to wait until it faces us to summon our Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Entering the battle phase.
I activate the spell Follow Wind.
Alright, Follow Wind just gives the monster, the raid monster, another extra, which is totally fine. They want to buff some people, which is a weird thing for the computer to do, but whatever. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and move forward.
The monsters are moving.
Yep. Direct attack of 1,000 because the computers are brain dead. This is why you can't do high-level raids with them because it's just not going to end very well. But we destroyed the objects to prevent the shield from happening, and we are going to go ahead and get our attacks increased, and then we're going to attack the monster. Now, we only did about 7,100 damage that turn, which is not very high whatsoever. But the weak point is facing us, which is exactly what we want.
It's the second turn's main phase.
Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to play our Giant Soldier of Stone, and then we're going to play our Blue Eyes White Dragon. We're going to get rid of both the Ojama Yellow and our Giant Soldier of Stone in order to do this. And then we are going to ready up.
Are you ready? Let's begin. Now is the time to play your best monster.
And we're going to Blue Eyes. We're going to use Blue Eyes' ability to get rid of the monster that's in front of us. We want to get rid of that vassal. You always want to get rid of the vassal when you play your Blue Eyes to attack its weak spot. To attack its weak spot. Oh, words are hard. And then we're going to play our card of Boss Buster to boost our Blue Eyes even more. Elma for the win.
Way to go.
And it looks like we're going to be getting a little bit of extra HP anyway, so we might as well use that so that it can give us 1,500, because we took a little bit of extra damage from the vassal being a dumbass. So, let's go ahead and attack. Now we're going to get healed up. We're going to get 1,500 from the Debris Dragon because of the Assist Rod. Perfect, we're back up to 8,000, which is perfect for us. And now our attacks are going to go up significantly more.
Well done. Strike where they're weak.
Perfect. We did about 20,000 damage that time. A little under 20,000 damage.
Super psychic attack.
You can always see how close you are to getting to the stun position by seeing how much damage you've inflicted over here on the left-hand side as well. Okay, so the True Nade, this is perfect. The whole reason that we summon True Nade, or do that, is because if this had been in the lane with the object, obviously it's not, but if it was, then what we would do is put Vorse Raider down because it's immune to blocking, and get rid of it. Now I'm going to trust the computer, I know, it's crazy, to get the object for me so I can instead attack with my Voice Raider instead. But this lane, anything that's in it, like this one, if it didn't have an immunity, would get knocked back to hand.
Are you ready? Let's begin. That's a good move.
Alright, so the computer actually did go after the object, which is great.
Entering the battle phase.
But nobody was able to go after it on that side, which is going to be an issue. Oh, never mind. Ojama Black was able to go on over there. Perfect. Alright, that works for us. Alright, we got an assist heal. We got an assist heal. We can't go past 8,000 life points anyway, so it doesn't matter because anything past 8,000 is just a waste. The thing with computers is that they're always going to be constantly trying to assist heal you, which is excessive and unnecessary. Alright, we need to do 6,000 more damage. Come on, face me, face me, face me, face me. Yes! Oh, this is perfect. X-Head Cannon has Boss Buster, so we're going to be able to do an extra 1,000 damage, which when facing that way is going to be an extra 2,000 after we get rid of this boss that's in front of us, this boss monster. Level 39 Utopia. Or number 39 Utopia, rather. Look at that animation. Beautiful. Alright.
Entering the battle phase.
Battle phase turn.
What will you do?
We're gonna go ahead and just straight go for it. Is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of that boss monster.
Destroy.
Goodbye, raid monster. Hello, assist.
Good.
We're going to be doing a lot of damage to it. I'm going to be gaining my attack, so it's going to go up to 2,000. Which is going to be just enough for us to be able to go ahead and stun the monster. And then we'll be able to damage it and kill it this turn. Now that it's stunned, it gets weak spots on each side of the monster, so every single player that is playing the game can attack its weak spot directly. And that's not exactly what I needed, but it's better than nothing. So I'm not going to be able to play my Red Dragon Archfiend this turn because we drew a Vice Dragon rather than something else that we could kill. But we can go ahead and play our Melodious Diva and then play Vice Dragon, so we might as well. It's not the worst thing that we could have drawn, but it's not the best. It's pretty mid-tier. So we're going to go ahead and do this, and then from this turn, we should be able to destroy the monster and be good to go. And we stayed on top of eliminating the objects. We've stayed on top of damaging it and doing as much damage as we can, especially when it turned to its weak spot to summon our ace, so we could get rid of the monster and attack it for as much damage with the boost with the spell cards as possible. And we're going to be able to go in and do some major damage to it. Alright, we get 8,000 with the assist heal. We're gonna go up to 2,500. That one's gonna go up to 2,000. And it's dead. Boom shakalaka, and we win. There's not even a pixel remaining. Goodbye, Raiza. And that's a shabam-a-lamma-whamma victory for us in the bag. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you go ahead and click that like button and subscribe because they taste delicious and it helps out the channel immensely. I had a lot of fun putting this deck together and it works really well, like I said, for the easy and medium tiers. It is extremely useful for going in and attacking the ones that you need to. And I'm not going to give thumbs up to the freaking AIs for doing what they needed to do, but I've been able to use that exact same deck to get me up to level 15 where I'm at right now. And level 16 is about where it starts to get into the hard mode tiers. So that's kind of what you want to look out for. But for now, without taking up any more else time, I will go ahead and let you beautiful people go until another Yu-Gi-Oh! Cross Duel video. Goodbye, my lovelies.